Hey, Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Philadelphia Eagles Now. We're going to jump into day one of official training camp practice news and rumors in 1 second. First, though, do you guys watch the NBA? I know most of you, 76er fans or just NBA fans in general? If you do watch the NBA, give me a 1 down below in the comment section for yes or a 0 down in the comment section for no. Again, 1 for yes, 0 for no if you watch the NBA. Now, why? Well, if you guys are NBA fans, you need to know that us at Chat Sports on our main channel will be live tomorrow for the NBA draft at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can actually sit back and see who the Philadelphia 76ers are going to go ahead and draft and see how the rest of the NBA is going to go ahead and draft, as of course there are tons of different players who potentially become superstars or just stars for your team in the NBA. The link will be in the description box and in the comments section. Or just go to youtube.com/Chat Sports TV to, of course, find the live stream tomorrow night on our main channel for the NBA draft. All right, let's go jump into the latest Philadelphia Eagles news and rumors here on a Wednesday. And, of course, we have day one of practice. So the Eagles practice is just officially wrapped up, according to the time of filming this. So your day one practice is over. They did some 7-on-7s, a bunch of individual drills. Not a lot happened, but still, it was day one. Very exciting. However, we need to go away from practice for 1 second and bring in the news first. And we'll start with the Aaron Rodgers discussion, which I know, I don't want to do this. This feels like Deshaun Watson, but 2.0. But there are people out there saying, well, Philadelphia should go ahead and try and get Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't want to be a Packer in 2022. We're really going to talk about that right now. But what people are talking about in Philadelphia Eagle land, so let's just break it all down for you guys here today on the video. So, of course, Rodgers, the whole deal with his holdout or wanting to hold out, his big old restructuring of his contract essentially gives him mobility in 2022. He can pick the team he wants to go to after this season in Green Bay. And so naturally, Philadelphia having cap space next year and having a ton of draft picks, you go, well, obviously Philadelphia and Aaron Rodgers, that would make sense. It's the same BS they're doing with the Deshaun Watson situation. There's no real reporting behind it. It's just talking heads in the media saying, oh, well, the Eagles have 3 first-round draft picks. Oh, well, Deshaun Watson cost 3 first-round picks. Oh, that makes sense. So it's dumb. It's tiring. It's not going to happen. But we still have to go ahead and talk about it and bring it up today here on the channel. So here was Bleeding Green Nation's write-up on the possibility of this. And so we'll throw up their quote on the screen, which is, I think, well said, right? So, quote, part of the Packers' aforementioned concession package reportedly includes allowing Rodgers to pick whatever team he wants to play for next season. When Rodgers looks to leave Green Bay after this year, the Eagles could be in a position to try and land him. They'd hardly be the only team interested in him. And of course, and he probably wouldn't want to come to Philadelphia unless it's clear quarterback is the only missing piece here. But the non-zero chance of Rodgers playing for the Eagles is at least worth mentioning here, end quote. Sure, it is worth mentioning, and they make a good point. If Philadelphia is great minus a quarterback, then maybe Rodgers wants to play for the Eagles, but again, very, very unlikely. Here's the deal. Let me pivot here and get off of the, what if Aaron Rodgers thing. Here you go. Jalen Hurts is going to shock y'all. I think Jalen Hurts is going to shock a lot of people in the National Football League. He did have a good day one practice, I'll say that. He was throwing the football to Devontae Smith in the red zone a lot. Smith had a couple of touchdown catches. He looked pretty darn good. Hurts is looking good so far. Very early, still in the offseason, but still, I think he's going to have a really good year and a shocking year for not just some of the doubter Philadelphia Eagle fans that are out there. Most of you guys aren't. You're like me, or you're excited for Jalen Hurts, but there are some out there who are doubters. I think the doubters are going to be silenced. I think national media will have to eat a lot of their words about how people are predicting Hurts is going to be not a good quarterback, an average quarterback, and an accurate quarterback. I think there are going to be a lot of shocking revelations this year with just how good Jalen Hurts could potentially be. And really, here's the deal. If Hurts is bad, then sure, maybe you go ahead and you kick the bucket on possibly trading for Deshaun Watson if he's cleared of stuff, big if, or maybe just calling Aaron Rodgers and asking. But the odds of getting both those guys to come, if Hurts is that bad, just go into the NFL draft, pick the quarterback that you like the best, use one of your 3 first-round draft picks potentially to either trade up or take him, and then start the full rebuild by having a brand new quarterback. It's just that simple. So we keep talking about different quarterbacks because they keep being brought up in the news, and obviously whenever different new stuff happens, we have to at least acknowledge it, even though I will say, yet again, they're not going to get Aaron Rodgers. It's dumb to think they're going to get Aaron Rodgers, just like it's dumb to think they're going to go ahead and get Deshaun Watson. But I digress, right? We got to cover it. We have to talk about it. I'm just pumped about Jalen Hurts. I think you guys should be as well. Let me ask you this, and this is directly indicated at Jalen Hurts' performance in 2021. Will the Eagles need a new quarterback in 2022? What do you think? In 2022, next offseason, will they need a new quarterback? Type 1 and below for yes, or go ahead and type N down below for no. I would type N because, obviously, I like Jalen Hurts. All right, before we go ahead and keep going here, again, make sure you guys are subscribed to our main channel at Chat Sports in order to get in on the NBA Draft live coverage. I think it's going to be a fantastic stream. They always do a great job. We always do a great job here at Chat Sports for all the draft stuff, not just the NFL, but the NBA Draft as well. YouTube.com/Chat Sports TV, or just go up above me and search Chat Sports, and it'll take you to our main channel. We have over 250,000 subscribers, and thousands of people are going to watch our live NBA Draft coverage. It's the best you can find online, so go ahead, subscribe there, and check out our channel during the draft, which is, again, tomorrow night, Thursday night, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, interesting story here that I was reading from Inside the Birds podcast, and they have some pretty good, they're very good about, potential breaking stories and stuff like that. Josh Doctson, you remember Josh Doctson? It's like, wait a second, he was a receiver and drafted in 2016 in the first round? Yes, that Josh Doctson, who later went on to be a Washington football team member, Washington Redskins team member at the time. Well, Inside the Birds podcast is reporting the Eagles have been interested in sniffing around the possibility of adding Josh Doctson to the Eagles roster here during training camp. Now, of course, right now, he's not been added to the roster because training camp started yesterday and it went on today, and he's not been added yet. But they're sniffing around Doctson and Clay in case I think some of the younger Eagle wide receivers are really poor. Like if J.J. Arcega-Whiteside stinks, then you could cut him pretty quickly and then bring in a guy like Josh Doctson. Now, Doctson sat out 2020 due to COVID concerns, and he actually went to, I think, Africa, did some humanitarian mission work. So he was doing good work outside of playing football, but he did sit out last season, which has a big impact on why he is still a free agent. Here was Inside the Birds on the Josh Doctson situation. Quote, I know that they internally discussed the idea of bringing Josh Doctson in, and I know they have some interest based on what I'm saying here. I just don't know if other teams are pursuing him, if he's like Steven Nelson where he's got to make a decision. I don't know the peripheral about that. I just know that the Eagles have talked about him, and we'll see if they make a move there. But if that's the case, it's not like they're making the move for a veteran Sage, right? I mean, he hasn't played a whole lot in the NFL, and he hasn't been successful as a first-round pick. But if you're bringing him in, you're bringing him in to say, if he's healthy, he's still got the good size for the position. He's still a former first-round pick. Maybe we can coax something out of him, end quote. It's very simple on this. I wouldn't say no for Josh Doctson. Like, I wouldn't say no to adding Josh Doctson on a very cheap veteran minimum one-year deal at wide receiver. At best, he becomes a really good player, and he's a former first-round draft pick who finally plays like a first-round draft pick. At worst, you spent, no money on a guy who just didn't really pan out, and you roll with Devontae Smith, and you roll with Jalen Reagor and the rest of the Eagle wide receivers. Doctson does have some success. He's not totally void of success during his couple of years in the NFL. 34 games, he had 1,000 yards in total receiving yards, 8 touchdowns. I think 6 of those came in one season, so he's not been totally trash. Was it Laquan Treadwell, who was the Viking drafted in the first round? He's been garbage, but I do think that Jones would have, or Doctson, will have a chance to maybe revitalize his career, or at least be a body in camp that you could throw some passes to and see if it sticks, essentially, from a wide receiver perspective. They mentioned the size. He's 6'2". He's a good size, good vertical, deep threat. Again, I would not hate the idea of adding a Josh Doctson, but I don't think that if we do sign him, that it would be any sort of oh my gosh, they added a first-round wide receiver. Not really. They added a guy who maybe could give you something, but in reality, probably would not. How confident are you guys in the current receiving core as it stands? They look pretty darn good today. Now, if Jalen Reagor wasn't out there, neither was Greg Ward. They should be out there later on this week, but I thought they looked pretty good so far in training camp. Give me your scale from 1 to 100 on how confident you are in the Eagles' current receiving core. I'm at like an 80. I'm probably overly confident, but give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. All right, final little, we're going to do a story. We're going to call it Training Camp Rapid Fire here as we throw it up on your screen. Here are kind of the big stories that are happening today on the football field and off the football field as well. You might have seen it yesterday. Xavier Howard officially requested a trade. As much as I've talked about Xavier Howard, I'd love to have him in Philadelphia, but they just signed Steven Nelson. So what are you going to bench Steven Nelson and then put Xavier Howard at the starting cornerback spot? Too expensive. It's going to cost too much. I'm very happy with Steven Nelson. Would not worry about it. Nelson was out there today as the starting number 2 cornerback. They put Avonte Maddox in the nickel, and Steven Nelson's wearing number 3, so he's alongside Darius Slay, who's wearing number 2. You get 2 and number 3 as 2 cornerbacks. That's weird numbers as they've changed the number change thing, but that is currently what's happening right now. Landon Dickerson inked his rookie deal yesterday. He was out there with a left knee brace on, but was out with his helmet and did some drills. And then Zach Ertz, he did report to training camp. There's some pictures on Twitter. He has blonde hair. He's fully dyed his hair blonde, and it's long too, which is weird, but Zach Ertz was out there. Didn't get first team reps though, as what I heard. I think it was Dallas Goedert, but Ertz was out there and in pads and looked good to go. Again, the main story here is the Xavier Howard stuff. I think we can put that to bed. I would love him in Philadelphia. We talked about him in Philadelphia, but I just don't see that as being a a possibility for the Eagles just because, again, Philadelphia just got a brand new cornerback in Steven Nelson, and I feel pretty good about the addition of Nelson. So there you go. There's your rapid-fire training camp stuff for the day. We're going to do this a lot during the course of the next couple of weeks to give you kind of the shorter stories that aren't full-size stories, but updates on what's happening with the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, before we go, make sure you guys are subscribed. If you're a real Eagle fan, you want the latest Eagles news and rumors, make sure you guys are subbed by going down below and hitting that subscribe button because camp's upon us, and we're covering it here on the channel. So if you're real and you're a true bleed green Eagle fan, go down below and subscribe. All right, before we end, hashtag Eagles down below for the mailbag coming up later this week. If you want to get your questions in, you stayed this long, then you're going to know. Mailbag down below. I use the hashtag Eagles. Get those questions in. You got to be a subscriber to be able to be chosen, as I expect a lot of really good questions for our weekend mailbag. All right, ultimately for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off. The rest of your day.